I'm a mother, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I am blessed. My name is Delores, and I am a recovered alcoholic and addict. I'm the eighth child in a family of 14. I have 10 brothers and 3 other sisters. I come from West Virginia in the hills, and my mother and my father were both in the home, but there was a difference. My father, I know today, was a practicing alcoholic. My mother sent us to church every Sunday. She greased us up with fat back, whatever she could find, and trotted us down to the church. And at that church, they told us about the God that I still serve today. It is my hope that by hearing my story, you will realize that some of the things that happened to me are things that happened to you. But I'm here to tell you that we too can recover if we have the capacity to be honest with ourselves. There is a higher power that loves us, and he wants to help put us back together again. My story is much like so many other people. As a child, I felt like I was alone. I never felt like I fitted in. And then I had some other devastating things that happened to me that added on to those emotions and feelings. As a child, I thought God didn't love me because my sick mind told me that he didn't love me because he did not give me the things that he gave everybody else. I know today that what God has for me, he has for me. I know that God can use every gift that he has given me and that I can take it and throw those gifts away and create havoc in my own life. Being the child that I was in my family, my mother had to go out and do day work and work at the hospital to take care of us. And when I was about 4 years old, I became a molested child. And being this molested child, when my mother found out what I thought was going to happen, that she was going to love me special and treat me special, didn't happen. I have a disease of perception. I see things the way that I want to see them. I have a magic magnifying mind. I'm that person whose glass is always almost empty. Today I know that my life is so full and my cup runneth over, and that God is always going to be pouring into me as I pour into others. But being this child that was molested and my mother finding out, I felt dirty in front of my brothers and sisters, and I isolated myself. I'm an alcoholic in my mind. My disease is more than my drinking and using. And I started telling God what I wanted him to do for me, what I wanted him to do for me. I had to come into recovery to find out that it's me presenting myself back to God that was going to make the difference in my life. It's a terrible thing to be a little 5-year-old girl and making decisions on your own. You know, I made the decisions that I was going to go out and be with the other kids. I wasn't going to stay home with those brothers and sisters, you know, because I knew they didn't love me. And I would always get in trouble. By 1960, we had moved to the city. And it was a whole different world. I couldn't go out there and climb up in the mountains. I couldn't climb up in the trees and sit there eating apples and imagine, fantasize, and then even talk to the God of my understanding. Today, I'm so grateful I can live and be free just to be me. This child that I was, I started doing all the things in church so that people could tell me I was somebody. I was all in the usher board, the choir, the auxiliary guilds. You know, I was the little helper girl. I'm all over the place. I also became this person in this city, getting scholarships from the Art Museum and Caramel House and Cooper Art School. Even before I graduated from high school, I had been chosen by the Cleveland Black business women to be groomed for success. People were always telling me, Delores, you got gifts and talents and you can be anything you want to be. You know, oh boy, when they gave me my little IQ and said I was 143, you couldn't tell me I wasn't the smartest thing in the world. Before I got here, I felt like I was the stupidest thing in the world, you know, because that disease didn't care who I was. Once I picked up that drink, it took my life away. But like I said, being this person that I was that had been blessed and people were telling me I could do things, I got a scholarship. I got a full scholarship ride to college, and I went back to West Virginia. I wanted to show my family that a Simpson, as they said, what that wasn't anything, was something. But there's a passage in the big book, I believe, of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill's story. He says he felt so very much alone. those same feelings were with me. And I discovered my friend, the elixir, alcohol. I had had my son. My mother was sending me money while she was taking care of me. And I wanted to impress these people down here, so I would set it up every day. I'd go up on campus and all of them would be, come on, Delores, because they knew I was going to buy the liquor. But I wasn't just buying it, I was drinking it. I experienced trauma when I went away to college because I was so busy trying to set up the drinks and trying to buy friends and have the men in my life that I undergone what you call one of those old-fashioned trains. Because under the influence of alcohol that night, I got drunk, like so many young girls do at parties and sets. And I'm looking at these guys and my mind is telling me, oh, they all want to be your man. And I found out you get taken advantage of. Because a friend of mine told me to go upstairs and lay down. And instead of me just laying down, next thing I knew, I don't know how many guys was up in that room. I was just like in this fog-like thing, you know something is going wrong, and you look up, you see one face, you see another face, and you see another face, and you see another face, and it just goes on and on. I don't know how many guys came up there that night, but I know about the guilt. I know about the shame. The alcohol, that good friend of mine, you told me it could make me feel better. Told me it could make me forget. But I never forgot, But anyway, I'm drinking this alcohol, gotta go out, gotta party, gotta set up the bars, gotta show off, gotta do this. And they talk about the other substances and stuff. Me drinking alcohol and setting up the party wasn't good enough. I still wanted everybody to love me and tell me I was somebody. So I started bringing all the other substances in, the heroin, anything that you told me. And I needed it, really. I was on this journey. I'd take something to stay up all night and party, take something to get up in the morning, take something to try to go to sleep, take something to try. So I'm adding all this stuff into my life over and over again. And I wanted to stop, but I didn't know how. Eventually, my life got so bad that no longer was I riding in the fine cars, because now I'm selling these substances because I needed the money to be able to support my own addictions. And I'm just throwing my life away and I'm feeling terrible. I was caught in that vicious cycle. Drink, trouble, drink, trouble. But the disease don't care. It's always taking me down. I tried all kind of ways and nothing worked. In 1987, I got blessed because I had this daughter that I had been wanting so long. And I thought maybe that would make me become a good mother. But I still had the untreated disease of alcoholism. I'm carrying this daughter in my belly. And I can feel her running to the back of me, trying to get out of my body because I'm still putting all these substances in on top of her. I understand and I feel for the young girls that are trying to get clean when they're pregnant. I had this baby and I'm dragging her around. I'm taking her in places and leaving her at home with hot dogs in the refrigerator. I have a mother at this time that I'm trying to take care of with Alzheimer's, and I'm leaving her to take care of my little daughter. I went and committed myself to the Cleveland Psychiatric Institution. I thought something had happened in my head. That when I had my son, they gave me some medication because I had some blood clots in my head. And they told me to take this medicine, but not to drink. I said, I'm gonna drink, so I can't take the medicine. A normal person would have said, don't take the medicine and don't drink. But I'm a sickie. I'm gonna stop taking the medicine so I could drink. Mind you, I didn't tell anybody when I went in the crazy house. So I said maybe something had went wrong about that. And they let me stay there and lay there and cry. And in the process of that, I had my son going around to the morgue every day looking for his mother. A son that has loved me from the time he came into the world until today. God has blessed me with that child because he knew that child was going to be able to help pick me up out of the gutter. But my disease said, now, if you take those antidepressants with some E&J, you're going to really feel better. And I was off and running again. I'm out at midnight, walking the streets, trying to find something. I can never forget walking in the middle of the street, hoping somebody would run over me with a car. I had come to that place where I hated me so much, because I was the one that was always around telling people, I'm somebody, and don't you want to be like me? I didn't want to be me. I came home from CPI, took that medicine, and my disease told me, Delores, your family think you crazy. Now you've been to the crazy house. And I decided I was going to throw the Christmas party, come home for the holidays. And of course, my brother came. And my brother was the brother that, when I came home from college after I'd had that train pulled on me, I'd asked him to teach me how to drink like a lady. I always wanted to be a lady. And now I'm living in the gutter of life. And he brought 2/5 of liquor and put them on the TV. And he bought some beer and put it in the refrigerator. And I did what we alcoholics usually do. We can build up something so good, but with one drink, we can tear it all down. I was so ashamed of myself that morning from cussing everybody out and showing out, and I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And I made the decision I was not going to try to do this thing called life anymore. And I walked the streets day and night like a zombie lady. I found myself doing things that I swore I would never do. And of course, I allowed some more things to happen to me. And I made the decision I was just going to drop off the face of the earth. I wasn't good enough for anything in life. And I was walking up the street, and my disease jumped on my shoulder. It told me, Delores, oh, you smart. You can, you'll get another come up. And I was ready to buy the lie, because I could hear this voice saying to me, this is what you want to do. Because I had seen this little lady coming down the street. And I knew that little old lady had some little money in that little purse. And I made the decision I was going to do what I had to do to rob and snatch her purse, and so I could get me something to drink if I was going to go home and make it through another day. And I started arguing with God like I'd always did about why you let this happen. He was willing to die himself because he wanted a relationship with me. He bought me back from my sins with his own blood. And I believe in the Holy Spirit that he had left here to teach me, to watch over me, to guide me, but I didn't listen. I've been taught about self-will run riot, selfish and self-centeredness. I wanted what I want when I wanted it, and I thought I could make my life happen. So I didn't listen to that spirit. I didn't listen to that spirit when I had guns at my head. I didn't listen to that spirit and recognize it and give it credit when I'm standing in a courtroom and I should be in federal penitentiary right now. God had been taking care of me all my life. Today I give him permission and I ask him to be in my life. We talk about surrender. That morning when I got to the little old lady, instead of me knocking her down, because I'm telling God, you better let it go, because I got to have this drink if I'm going to make it through another day. All I could do was say good morning. But for the first time in my life, it was like the inside, all that stuff that was inside of me came to the outside. And I was screaming and I was hollering on the street up there, God help me, please help me. For the first time, instead of arguing with him about what he didn't do, I was asking him to help me. And I knew I started surrendering my life that day. Because as I walked up that street, screaming and hollering, I ended up at my sister's house. And she let me in. I was filthy, dirty, tired. My nephew came and told me, he said, Auntie Dee, I got some beer. And I told him no, I didn't want any. And I laid down on my sister's couch and I went to sleep, and that son was standing up over me when I woke up because he was crying. And all he was saying, "Ma, look at you. Look at my mother." His mother had become somebody that his little friends, when he was in school, used to say they was going to marry, man. I'd go up to the school with my furs and stuff. Those same friends was telling him, "Man, why don't you get your mama off the corner?" And I'm a sick person, and I looked at him and said, "I'm your mama. How you going to help me?" And he told me what I've learned today. He said, "Mama, sometimes even a parent has to become the child." And I became a child all over again. My son gathered me up in his arms and he took me in the bathroom and he washed my face. He told me he was going to help me. He carried me home. He put me in his bed and he started calling for treatment facilities for me. He left and went to work one day and I was on the floor crying, telling God, "I know you got a way. I know you can help me." I didn't want to go to treatment. I still thought of myself. I was supposed to do this thing. I found out it was going to be the dependence on God and other people. I started asking God for help, and he told me to get up and start making my own phone calls. And I called around to different treatment facilities, and I got Orlando Howard on the phone, and for the first time, someone was talking to me about how I felt, about the mornings after, about the guilt, the shame, and remorse, about the vicious cycle that we get on and can't get off. And he told me that he had a place he knew for me. I did not go into a traditional treatment facility. The place he sent me was the New Joshua Center for Hope, a little hole in the wall. And I went in that place and I was 41 years old. I ready to turn 42 with all those young girls up in there. They was playing the bebop music. But one thing had happened to me when I walked into that place. It was like I could hear the angels saying, "Welcome home." I had found a place with people like me that understood the disease of addictions. People were willing to reach out their hand and help, and nothing in my life has been the same. I became a child all over again. I did the best I could to follow the rules. I went into a 90-day treatment program. I stayed 150 days until they told me to go home and use my tools. I went back to that treatment facility after I was out of there, and I tried to give back. It was a church. I went back to that church, and the ladies, the older ladies and the younger ladies, helped me. I was blessed to be able to start teaching children Sunday school at that church. My family was a singing family. All of them sang besides me. I joined a little recovery choir, and they had me to sing a song. And they didn't laugh at me. They supported and encouraged me. And that's what I try to do today. I try to help people know that you don't have to stay stuck. There is help for you. You don't have to stay stuck in that. You can take the responsibility of knowing that some things are not healthy for you to do. I choose what I do with my body today. I don't drink and I don't drug. I don't allow myself to be put in situations where I put myself in danger. I can't say what's going to happen in my life, but it won't be because of the drink or the drug. Just reach out, ask for help. There's a way for each of us to get sober and clean. It doesn't have to be the way I got it. In fact, I can say my sobriety date as far as alcohol and drugs is February the 17th, 1992. Listen to somebody. We have a world and generation, I think, today that people don't want to listen. They all think they got it and know it. I know I did. So I say to new people when they come in these rooms, when they come into recovery, when they turn their will and their life over to the care of God, ask Him to put people in your life that want to help you accept it and be willing to give it back. Today I've been so blessed. Today I've had the opportunity, like I said, to start doing Sunday school at that church, and I went back to my home church I'd grown up in that I felt so ashamed in. I was able to start teaching children's ministry, and I chose to do the 12, 13, 14-year-olds, usually when our lives start getting out of order, and we get out of order, to let them know that they could make positive choices and that nothing that had happened in their life couldn't get better, that nothing that they had done should be defining who they are. Not to let the world or anyone put labels on them, that they could stay free all their lives if they had depended on a higher power. I've had the opportunity to go into other treatment facilities, to travel in other cities. My dream was to go to Paris. I went to Paris in 2017. I spent a month over there and made like I was a Parisian. Something that I had tried to do when I was 35, was too caught up in the madness to be able to do. I went skydiving at 59 years old, and I could hold my arms out and feel like I was free. I didn't like anything at all about me when I was a child. I didn't like the way I looked, the family I was in, the people I was around. I always felt different and ashamed. I didn't like the physical aspects of me, and I learned to dress up the outside. You know, this way of life has given me so many freedoms. And in recovery, they've got some promises that say you'll have a new freedom and a new happiness. Because me, who always wanted to dress up the outside, today the inside of me is free. I'm free because of listening to the people in the programs and the God that I understand. I found a new freedom and a new happiness. I've got this alopecia thing, which I never would have let anybody know about. But because of the freedom that I have today, I can do this for you. This is me. I'm Delores, and I'm happy, joyous, and free. And you can be free too. Thank you for listening.